welcome to this special edition of Realm Talks 2. As part of Stress Awareness Month in April, I'm joined by Laura Clapton, Director at Consilia Legal, an award-winning boutique law firm in Leeds that places great importance on the well-being of lawyers. Welcome, Laura, and thank you so much for joining me today.
Oh, hi Lucy, and thanks for having me.
So, to begin with, I just wanted to ask you about flexible working and work-life balance. Obviously at Consilia, it's one of only a handful of law firms that have embraced the 4-day working week. So what I'd really like to know is, why did you decide to kind of adopt that way of working?
Yeah, sure. So just before the pandemic, I had my first child, and I had decided quite quickly after that I wanted to come back and I wanted to work reduced hours. Namely a 4-day week, so that I could still have 1 day a week with my daughter, and that was sort of really important to me. So I spoke to my business partner Marie Walsh and said that was my intention, and actually she said, look, that's going to work for me and my family as well. And so we both decided that we were going to trial anyway, each doing a 4-day week. I'd never done a 4-day week before. I'd always worked full time, and so I was a little bit apprehensive as to the impact that would have. Anyway, so we implemented that. And actually very quickly we both realised that actually we were still able to achieve our goals and objectives by just working more smartly within the time that we had. And I'm sure a lot of people listening who have worked part-time will be sort of nodding their heads and saying, yeah, that's exactly what you have to do. You've got to be much more committed to ensuring that you get what you need to get done within that time frame. So that's what we did, and so we'd done that I think for about between 3 and 6 months. I think we'd sort of tried it ourselves, saw that it was working for us. I still do fee earning as well as managing the business, and so I could see that my fee income hadn't dropped. I could see that from a business management perspective I was still getting all of my objectives done and still being available and accessible to the team. I felt that the clients weren't affected because we very much do have a team approach, and so even on a day that it was technically a non-working day for me, the clients were still being fully serviced by the team, and so it was working, and we were seeing huge benefits, and so we really wanted to be able to share that with the team and for them to realise those benefits. And so we decided, and we consulted with the senior team and said, look, we're thinking about initiating this 4-day week. What do you think? And there were, again, mixed responses, because some of them had never worked part-time before, never worked a 4-day week. And so everybody was up for trialling it, but with sort of, again, a bit of apprehension. What about my clients? How's it going to impact, etc.? And so we initially decided to trial it for 3 months. We then extended it to 6 months. We were then doing it for a year, and we've been doing it now since 2021, and we've not looked back really. And I think that I can speak on behalf of the team that do the 4-day week now, that they have themselves seen and reaped the benefits. And actually, in terms of performance, in terms of productivity, they're more productive because they're having to work within those more limited hours, and they're just working more smartly, delegating better, focusing on the work that they should be doing, delegating the work that perhaps they shouldn't, not saying yes to every single meeting or trying to keep meetings more focused. And so, as I say, by working more smartly, I think that they've really been able to reap the benefits. And so we've no intention of changing back to a 5-day week anytime soon.
That's really nice to hear, actually, because at Realm also we do a 4-day working week too, and I think you do work a lot smarter in the time that you've got and a lot harder, and actually I feel like with the 4-day week your motivation stays like throughout those 4 days a lot better than maybe spreading out along 5, and I think a lot of other firms would definitely reap the benefits as well, and it's nice to hear how Consilia have reaped those benefits. Just following on from that, you've mentioned obviously how they have reaped the benefits, but I was just going to ask you as well, how has the 4-day week impacted members of your team from a kind of a well-being point of view?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, as I say, I feel like every single member of the team that are doing a 4-day working week would hopefully echo that they are benefiting from that. but for different reasons. And so we've got some that look after young children on their non-working day, others elderly relatives, others just spend more time being active, being outdoors. So from a wellbeing perspective, whether it's spending more time with your family, spending more time with your children, being able to take care for others, or just being able to be more active, you know, people who enjoy running and being out and being able to go for long runs, go to the gym, whatever it might be, I think there's definitely a huge wellbeing perspective. And also the other aspect of it, I think you touched upon it there, Lucy, about being able to stay motivated throughout the week, just having that kind of reset. So for example, we've got one member of the team who doesn't work on a Wednesday, and she'd sort of fed back that actually it was a really great opportunity for her to sort of reset midweek. And then she felt really motivated, and as you say, working really hard on those other 4 days, but I'll just add not longer hours. That's absolutely not the point of it. So we're not expecting them to try and cram in those, if you like, lost hours in those other 4 days. That's not how it works. You know, we don't expect them to work longer. We're just hopefully setting up an environment where they can be more productive in those 4 days. So part of our, I suppose, responsibility to help the team is to look at ways that they can be more productive and we can help them be more productive in that time. So, you know, looking at our case management system, looking at technology that we're using, looking at what support they have, looking at how tasks are delegated. So that's been our big push, particularly this last 12 months, to look at productivity, look at how we can improve that without them having to work any additional hours, but getting the same outcomes, because that's what's important at the end of the day. It's the outcome for the clients.
Definitely, I agree, and I'm glad obviously it doesn't affect that relationship with the clients, but also it really impacts employees' well-being, so it's beneficial on both ends, which is nice to hear, and obviously it's working really well. So just following on from that, what else does Consilia do as a firm to look after the well-being of your employees?
Well, I mean, wellbeing is super important to us as employers and as a team, and that sort of trickles throughout. So it's not just, I think we all echo that. I think it's really core to our sort of values and ethos as a firm. Making sure that we're checking in with each other. You know, we see ourselves as a bit of a work family, and so we're regularly checking in, and it's not just other team members checking in with each other. So, you know, we have regular one-to-ones where, you know, we're looking at how are people coping, are there any challenges, do they need any additional support. I'm a big advocate of family law supervision, so we offer that so that members of our team, if they've got difficult cases and they want to speak to an external family law professional who's a family law supervisor about those cases, then we absolutely embrace and encourage that. And in terms of other things that we offer as a firm, we do our wellbeing days. We give everybody their birthdays off, which I think is quite a nice thing to do. So again, they can spend time with their family, friends, whatever they want to do. We have private medical, and one of the really big feedback that we've had from that is the ability to access GPs very quickly, so private GP appointments. So that's something that I think the team really appreciate. As I say, it's the big part of us is being able to sort of check in with each other, and so we have a really open environment where people can share, and as I say, it's a really supportive environment, and I think that as I say, isn't just Marie and I. It's we can see the team supporting one another, and if somebody is going through a challenging time, then you can see that other team members are there trying to offer their support and step in. So it is really nice to see. We try and do a lot of things as a team outside of the office. So we do a lot of sort of team building type exercises. I think the next one we've got coming up is a glass making workshop. And the last one we did was making things out of recycled plastic. And so we all made something for another member of the team with like a nice like motivational message on that was relevant to them. And so things like that, you know, we try and do as much as we can outside of work as a team, you know, as well as I say, working together quite collaboratively with our clients as well.
I love the sound of those workshops. I might suggest that for Realm on one of our wellbeing days, because it's something that we do, and I think what you touched upon with the supportive team, I think that's so important, and it's something, obviously, being a specialist in this market, a lot of people want and ask for that supportive team, and it's nice that you also, obviously, especially the private healthcare, like that's a big benefit, and I know how hard it can be to get hold of GPs, so it's nice to know like they've got that benefit, because that is actually really important to a lot of people, and a lot of people struggle with that, so they can relate. So it sounds like you do a lot, which obviously helps employees' well-being, and I feel like you've ticked everything off there. There's probably not much more you could do. So just wanted to follow on from that. Obviously, Consilia won the National Family Law Wellbeing Award in 2021 at the Family Law Awards, and you were also finalist in 2022 as well. Congratulations on the win. That's amazing. What does being publicly recognised for your work on this front mean to you as a firm?
Well, I mean, we were absolutely thrilled that we were shortlisted in 2021, and we went down to London, we went to the awards. We weren't expecting to win at all, and when we did, I think you could see the shock on my face. I don't know if someone's got a video of it, but probably circulating somewhere. And it was a real shock, and we were absolutely honoured, and it was sort of the icing on the cake, as I say. We were so thrilled to be shortlisted, and there was some amazing other organisations that have been shortlisted, and we're doing some fantastic work in respect of wellbeing. So it was a real privilege just to have our names appear, alongside them. And I think the recognition, it's more a recognition on behalf of the whole team, and the team was so proud to have won that award, that actually that was for me, that was what it was all about. It's that they're proud to work for a firm where well-being is so important, and where they feel looked after, they feel valued, and they have that supportive environment. So it was to them as well, because as I say, it's not just that Marie and I are the ones that are making sure that well-being is at the forefront of our minds. As I say, every single member of our team deserved that award. And yeah, that was the proud moment, that actually we'd create something that not just only we were proud of, but the whole team were proud of being part of. So yeah, that was what it meant to us, I think.
I can imagine that was such an amazing feeling, to just look around at the team and like seeing their expressions as well, and like knowing that they've won it. Like, I feel like that's probably such a huge achievement for you to see that. And I can imagine why you felt so proud in that moment, and it's nice to obviously get that public recognition for it too. But I love how humble you are when you said, obviously, it was nice to just be nominated, and nominations are like great on their own, but to win it, I can imagine it was a very, very proud moment.
Yeah, it was.
And then just to close this off, I just wanted to ask, what do you do personally to combat stress and look after your own well-being?
Well, I've got 2 young children now, so life is very busy outside of work, and so it can be difficult to prioritise yourself, especially obviously my children are my number one priority, and for me the weekends are all about family time, and so we spend, weather permitting, a lot of time outdoors, going on walks, going to the park, going to local farms, and that's really lovely to do as a family. But then for myself as well, I enjoy running, so I do a lot of running sort of when I can, and actually for me it sort of ticks a lot of boxes in terms of getting outdoors, exercising, so I feel more energized, but also just sort of clear my own and give me that headspace, clear my mind, give me headspace, and then I feel ready to go again with whatever the next thing might be. So for me it's all about, when I'm not working, it's about family time, and then where I can sort of trying to fit in a little bit of me time too, which is I think is really important.
Definitely important. You've got obviously a very busy work life and then a very busy life outside of work, so I think prioritising your own space sometimes definitely helps with well-being. And you are very healthy with the running as well. I think my go-to for well-being is always meditation, and I feel like that's a little bit more lazy than going out and exercising, but yeah, it's really nice to hear. Obviously you do a lot to kind of help your well-being outside of work as well, which is nice to hear. Well, It's been lovely speaking to you about wellbeing, Laura. Thank you so much for your time and catching up.
Yeah, it's been really nice, Lucy. Lovely to speak to you.
Lovely to speak to you too.